Hello and welcome to the best BTD guide of all time, brought to you by your favorite YouTuber, SJB. We've got a lot to talk about today, and there's going to be a lot of information thrown at your face, but I'm going to take you guys from noob to not noob by the end of this video. Maybe not pro, but at least not noob by the end of this video. So there's a lot going on the front page here. There's so much to talk about and so much to do. There's stuff on the right side. There's stuff on the bottom. There's stuff on the left side. There's big exclamation points here. What the heck do we do to play the game properly? Well, first thing, click your daily chest. You get a daily reward just by pressing that button, and it's awesome. The next thing you want to do is go to the settings section and click Career Support so you can support your favorite YouTuber, which in this case is probably SJB, hopefully. And then you're going to want to go check out the Hero section. So the hero is going to be your main tower in BTD6. This is the core tower that you're going to revolve your strategies around. There's going to be 4 free heroes in the game that you're going to unlock just by playing a little bit, and there's going to be a bunch of paid heroes that you can eventually pay monkey money for, which is a currency that you earn by playing the game. You don't need to buy monkey money, but you can buy monkey money if you want to have things faster. Anyways, we're going to be using Quincy today, which is just a nice, well-rounded hero to start off the game. The next thing I want you guys to do is check out the monkey section. This is just a good way to understand what does your tower upgrade to. So if you ever get confused, you can always just check out this section and say, oh, this is the path that we can go down. Paths in this game are going to be stuck at a 3rd tier level, where you can buy, once you get to the 3rd tier, you are stuck down that path. So once we get a spike up bolt, we must upgrade to a 3rd, 4th, and 5th tier in this section. Once we get to a crossbow, we definitely need to upgrade in this section. So you can go up to 5, 2, or get one other path up to 2nd tier. That's why you can go for anything up to 2nd tier before you get locked into that 3rd tier cross path. So, I know that seems a little bit confusing, but you'll figure that out fairly quickly. Anyways, let's jump into a game. Press the play button. I'm going to walk you guys through Monkey Meadow because it's the first standard map. It's a really easy map, and it's kind of a fun map. We're going to play hard today. We're going to go into standard, and I do recommend you guys just jump in. Alright, go ham on it. It's going to be more fun for you, and we'll have a blast today. First thing you're going to do is you're going to throw in your hero, and positioning is kind of important here. Alright, so positioning is just where you put your tower. Where do we want to put him? Do we put him in the front of the map to pop balloons faster? Or we put him in the back of the map to make sure nothing sneaks through? No. We put him somewhere near the middle of the map, but you usually want to put him near the middle end of the map. Or, when you look at a tower, you want to position him in a place where you can hit the most balloons by hitting them in the most different areas. So for example, this is a wonderful spot for our hero, because when we throw down our hero here, we can have one spot where we hit the balloons, they'll wrap around, we'll have a second spot where we hit the balloons, they'll wrap around, have a third spot where we hit the balloons, and a 4th spot where we hit the balloons. That is a wonderful amount of time to hit balloons. Different areas across the map here, it's going to save our butts in a lot of situations. And the hero, being the most powerful tower in the entire game for us, is going to be really, really important here. The nice thing is we spent just a measly $650, and by the end of the game, we'll be easily 10 times more powerful than just about any other tower that we can buy here. It's kind of insane. So positioning them well and making sure that we kind of keep track of them is fairly important for us. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to think about building some towers. So each of these towers are going to have a bunch of different things going on with them. It's obviously, I think there's 23 towers in the game right now, and they're broken down into 4 different groups. There's the primary monkeys, which are blue, the military monkeys, which are green, the magic monkeys, which are purple, and the support towers, which are orange. We'll probably talk about those in a little more detail later on, but for now, I just want you guys to build a dart monkey, which is kind of the base tower of the entire game. Build a dart monkey, and then another tower as soon as you can, build a boomerang, alright? These are both very good starting towers, and we want to start earning our experience. So experience is a really weird concept in BTD6. Alright, if you go to the homepage, you're going to see that there's a level section. That's just kind of your general level. The way you level up is just by popping balloons and beating the game. So don't even think about trying to level up. Just play the game and you will level up, alright? Best way to level up, again, is just by beating maps and earning medals. So, easy enough. But then to earn experience for your hero, how does that happen? Well, at the end of every single round, your hero is going to earn experience. And every round is going to continuously, every higher round is going to continuously give you more and more and more experience. So you will level up technically quicker if you go to a higher round with your hero. Okay, that's easy enough to understand. The towers, though, are a little bit more complicated. This is a little bit goofy, and hopefully I can explain it in a proper way here, but it's, again, going to give you a certain amount of experience at the end of the round, but now there's not one tower to give it to. There can be many towers to give it to. We could have 20 different towers here, or many of the same tower, all combined together. So how does it work? It's all based on money. So at the end of a round, let's say, for example, we earn 1,000 experience. That 1,000 experience is going to be divided up amongst your towers based on how much money you spent. So if we want to make this easy on ourselves, just pretend the Dart Monkey costs $400. Pretend the Boomerang costs $600. If we earn 1,000 experience, Dart Monkey's going to earn 40% of it, or 400. Boomerang's going to earn 600, or 60% of it. So it's all just going to be divided up, and it's based on how much money you spend, not how many towers you build. So if I started to upgrade, for example, my Boomerang down to the bottom path here, now we're earning significantly more experience for our Boomerang than we are for the Dart Monkey. If you're just starting off the game, it's very important to understand that, so you can start to level up your towers that you really want to get to 3rd tier, 4th tier, and eventually 5th tier. Just by kind of focusing on a tower in each individual game, you can level them up way, way, way quicker. Instead of just building a bunch of different monkeys all over the place, you're never going to get anywhere with experience. You're just going to slowly level everybody up instead of leveling up a certain set of towers very high. So now that we got that down, I want to start upgrading specific towers in specific ways to make ourselves do a little bit better kind of long term here. So I want you guys to get a Boomerang up to Red Hot Rings, which is the way that we say this when we're playing BTD6 is we give it 3 numbers.
Yes.
How many upgrades for this path, how many upgrades for this path, and how many upgrades for this path. So this would be a 002 Boomerang, or a Dart Monkey of 002. If we wanted to upgrade something else, like maybe get a tack shooter on the screen, which we'll talk about positioning for this guy a little later on, we could upgrade something like a 220 tack shooter. And that's just kind of the way that you say it, and if you ever see something online, you're going to see like it's 320 or 520 or whatever. That's the way it's all going to work. And again, don't forget, once you get to a 3rd tier tower, you are, again, locked into that path. For example, this path is already closed because we've started buying in 2 paths, and now we're going to lock out this path by buying hotshots. We can no longer buy that upgrade anymore. So as soon as you get a 3rd tier, you are locked out of any other way of playing the game. But the next thing I want to talk about now is different types of balloons. So at that point, there really isn't any weird balloons coming out. You just have regular old popping them by doing towers. Now we're going to have to start dealing with black balloons, white balloons, purple balloons, camo balloons, lead balloons. These all come out in the 20s, which is just kind of crazy. So, first of all, camo balloon can only be seen by towers that have camo detection. Very, very easy tower to do that. It's always a ninja, so if you're ever just, I don't know what to do, build a ninja. But Quincy's also going to have camo detection, and then you can also buy your Dart Monkey, which is a very important tower here, up to camo detection by getting the bottom path and eventually getting the crossbow, which is going to be a really good tower for a lot of early BTD6 players here. Whenever I get crossbow, I always go quick shots, very quick shots. Just kind of a general thing that you're probably going to want to do here. Just got to let him go to town. Also, purple balloons, which is kind of like a magic balloon, which means a lot of towers that do magic attacks can't pop it, like wizards and, oh gosh, fiery towers too, like Ring of Fire can't pop it. Oben can't pop those. It's just like a bunch of weird towers. Plasma towers can't pop it. It's kind of like a weird balloon that you'll eventually figure out. It doesn't really have like a 100% general rule to pop it. And then lead balloons, which is going to kill a lot of BTD6 players here. If you're not ready for lead balloons, you will die, because your hero cannot pop, most heroes cannot pop lead balloons very early. Alright, Oben can, most other heroes can't. So that's why I always go for a Red Hot Rings Boomerang, or a Hot Shots Tack Shooter, or another explosive tower like a mortar or a cannon. Those guys are other easy ways to pop lead balloons. But this normally would just bounce off of any normal target that you have here. So you need to start learning about different types of balloons. Very early on, you're going to realize having a tower that pops all different types of balloons is amazing. So I wanted to show you guys one tower that's fairly cheap that can pop all types of balloons. So if you get this guy, no matter what, you will always pop everything. All right, we're going to be buying a heli pilot. I'm going to be upgrading up to quad darts, and I'm going to get the pursuit here, so I don't need to micro it either. By the way, micro is just the movement of your monkeys, the different targetings you can do, using your abilities properly. It's doing all the things with your mouse to make things happen and pop balloons efficiently, right? But to make yourself have an easier time, usually there's a lot of towers that you can like target in different ways that'll make you have to do less micro, and will kind of do the micro for you, which in my opinion is always a good thing, because it allows our mind to be freed up to think about what towers we want to build and what to do to make sure this is all going to go down properly. But I always recommend going for a pursuing Razor Rotors with IFR Helipilot. All right, this guy, again, pops every type of balloon. You'll never need to worry about different balloon types randomly sneaking through, and for the most part, will pop almost all of those types as well. So it's just nice to have him on your team. Plus, he's kind of a good, well-rounded tower kind of across the board for just popping balloons and staying kind of relevant throughout the game, even all the way up to around 80+. So, at this point, we've got a very nice setup for us. All right, let's hop on back over to the primary military magic monkey support monkey section. All right, so again, these towers are going to have a color-coded aspect to them. This doesn't really mean much. It doesn't really matter that much, but it is important to kind of note because certain towers are going to have certain combinations that work really well with other towers. This is probably the most complicated part of BTD6 in general, is learning about the combos that work really, really well with each other. But once you get a feel for what a primary does, what a military does, what a magic does, what a support does, it kind of like makes more sense here. So like I said, don't forget, Razor Rotors is the heli that you want to build. Now, he's going to pursuit, he's going to pop leads, pop camos, and pop any balloon, even purples, anything that's going to come out against us for the rest of the game. It's nice to have him on your team. But the primary monkeys work really, really well for beginner players because they just have every type of popping power. They're pretty good at it. They work well in kind of close-range combat. They're able to target on first most of the time. They just work well kind of across the board. And you can upgrade them fairly quickly and earn experience on them fairly quickly as well, which is kind of nice. Then we've got the military monkeys, which are monkeys that are a little more advanced. You're going to have to like control them and micro them and maybe target them a little bit. Certain towers have restrictions, like you can't put a sub or a boat on land. You need to put them on water, which you will notice most maps do have water. And you're going to have flying towers like the Helipilot and the Monkey Ace, which are going to fly all over the map and do weird patterns and stuff. It's kind of goofy. Like, they're a little more difficult to use. Mortars, the most hated tower in the game by a lot of players, are fairly difficult to use because when you throw them down here, I can't put them down because I'll just sell them. Because you need to micro him, and you need to specifically aim at certain spots and move them around and, like, pop balloons in particular, and it's like, oh my god, this sucks. People hate the border. I don't recommend it for a beginner tower. Dartling Gun, same thing. You throw him down, you can kind of aim across the board here, but again, it's going to follow your mouse unless you specifically lock him in place with a specific type of targeting. So they're complicated-ish, but they're also really good, okay? There's one tower that I'm going to recommend here. If you guys are a beginner player, the best tower to kind of start your game off with is probably some sort of sniper. Put him on strong, and then honestly, probably the best sniper for you to get is some sort of large caliber, deadly precision with fast firing, faster firing for a beginner player. If you're only playing up around 80, this is just a really solid tower that pops the strongest balloons. And again, we're going to get to targeting with, or damage types with Pierce and Damage soon, which will explain this even further. But let's finish talking about this first. Magic monkeys are going to be even more complicated than military monkeys. They're going to be kind of wild and all across the board. They're going to work in weird ways, and oftentimes you want to combine them together with the same monkey over and over again, which is kind of goofy. For example, getting a bunch of shinobi tactics allows you to stack shinobi tactics on top of each other, and they shoot even faster than other ways. So, don't get me wrong, it's a fine way to play the game, but it becomes kind of one-sided with your defense, and it gets kind of weird, right? Also, alchemists end up buffing your towers, which is kind of weird. It's not horrible by any means, but it's just kind of weird to play around with. And then you got the support monkeys, which are towers that are going to support your other monkeys for the most part, right? The number one tower that I'm going to recommend in any situation is to run the Spike Factory up to just base Spike Factory. Early game if you can. Throw them down here because if any random balloons sneak through, you're going to save those lives, all right? This guy's not going to do the best popping power ever, but having a good safety net at the back of the map is kind of priceless. Just to know that you're going to have, no matter what, a good defense. This works even better when you have only one area where the balloons can sneak through instead of multiple, which will eventually happen in the later, harder maps. So at this point, what I want to do is I do want to talk a little bit about Pierce and Damage, which I kind of tried to start talking about, and I got distracted earlier. So Pierce and Damage are very, very, very weird. They're kind of goofy, but you're going to notice that these random ceramics here are actually just disappearing. Alright? That was because our Deadly Precision Sniper can shoot through 20 damage per shot. That means every single time we attack, we do 20 damage to either a Moab-class balloon, or we could just kill a ceramic outright. Alright? So, we talked earlier about how these balloons have So at this point, what I'd recommend doing is either getting a Ring of Fire or start upgrading your other monkeys to 3rd and 4th tier. So Ring of Fire is really good. Kylie Boomerangs are going to be good with faster firing. Sharpshooters are going to be really, really good for a lot of players up to around 80. And then once you can start to afford it, Apache Dartship is going to be a great tower as well. That'll just probably beat the game the rest of the way by himself. So like really, really good combos here just to like kind of throw these guys down and have them be a good starting tower. But I like Ring of Fire with super range attacks because this entire area is just going to be burned up. All the Bloons will basically die. As long as we're popping the Moab layer, we're going to be totally fine here. But to talk about damage, we have to talk about the bigger Bloons in the game. So now you've seen a Moab class Bloon, which was the big blue one here. Alright, now we can get even bigger than a pink blue, we can get even bigger than a black and white, we can get even bigger than a ceramic, which is a Moab, we can get even bigger than a Moab, which is a BFB, we can even get even bigger than a BFB, which is, oh my god. And each one of these Bloons is going to have multiple of their child Bloon inside of them. And when I say multiple, usually it's either 4 or 2 of them. So this gets kind of wild because you can see how this can extrapolate out kind of exponentially. One oh my god can turn into like 8,000 Bloons, 4,000 Bloons. It's like kind of crazy. You get a lot of Bloons inside of one single Bloon. But we should walk you guys through them really quickly. So the biggest Bloon is going to be the Oh My God. All right, up until round 8. This is just up to round 80. Once you get to the bigger, badder Bloons of beyond round 80, things can get even bigger. But generally, the Oh My God is the biggest Bloon up to round 80. Below that, you're going to pop into 4 BFBs. All right, below the 4 BFBs, you're going to pop into 4 Moabs. Now, keep in mind that this is Oh My God popped into 4 BFBs, which pops into each 4 Moabs. So we have 16 Moabs from a single Oh My God. Now, each one of these Moabs is going to pop out 4 ceramics. So, that means we're up to 64 Bloons popping out of his Oh My God at this point. Kind of ridiculous. 64 ceramics popping out of a single Bloon. Each one of these ceramics is going to pop out into multiple rainbow Bloons. Each one of those rainbows is going to pop into multiple zebras. Each one of those zebras is going to pop into a black and a white balloon. And each one of those blacks and whites is going to pop into not 1 pink, but 2 pinks each. So, this is where we get into the red Bloon equivalent aspect. Because each Bloon doesn't have necessarily a bunch of damage that we need to go over, they have, or health to go over, they just have the amount of layers that kind of go into them. So it's kind of nice when you have something that does damage, because it could just skip all the layers underneath. Just delete them. Now at this point, here's your answer. Apache Dartship. If you can get a 4th tier tower going, Apache Dartship is your answer. Highly recommend it. If you can't get an Apache Dartship, again, start focusing on some of the other towers here up to 3rd tier. Just start leveling them up. Cannons, boomerangs, tac shooters, whatnot. But once you get Apache Dartship, the game is over. You have won. We can play it around 80. Apache Dartship with this combo wins the game. So, we're done. We won. It's as easy as that. Now, I'm not saying that you should just use Apache Dartship every single time, but any tower that's going to cost you $20,000 plus is going to be a pretty solid tower. It's going to get you pretty far. But I really like showing this to early new players because it pops every type of Bloon. It'll pop the camos for us. It'll pop all the Bloons. It just will not have any issues. And having that at the very least as a knowing way to play the game means you can always have it as a backup, right? You can always have a 3-2 heli pilot, try out other towers, and if that fails, get the Apache Dartship, sell the other towers, and make it happen. You know? So it works that easily. But in addition to damage, there's another type of way we pop the Bloons, which is called Pierce. So this is a little more difficult to show on the screen right now, but Pierce is going to work by going through more Bloons in a row. So a really good example of this would be something like a Juggernaut. If I put my Juggernaut on last here, if Bloons... No, let's throw this guy over here. The Juggernaut's going to throw his Juggernaut ball. It's going to go through a crap ton of Bloons. You're going to see it. It's going to just... Whoop, it's going to go right through them, which means he has a very high Pierce. He goes through many of the individual Bloons, but he doesn't go and do that much damage to the Bloon, so he doesn't necessarily do overall popping power. The addition of Pierce and damage equals popping power, or total amount of Bloon deletion, basically. But this is a really good combo, really good squad here. I'm going to, again, just leave him on pursuit and let him do his thing so I don't have to micro it all. And we'll just kind of talk about the rest of the game here. And then soon, we are actually done with the best beginner's guide ever. That is it. That's how you play BTD6. You start by getting just the right combo of towers here. You learn which towers make sense for you. You test out different towers once you have a decent strategy here. And the best way to understand how your towers are doing is to look at their pop count. If you look at their pop count and you see, oh, this guy's only got 6,000 pops. Oh, this guy's got 800. Obviously, he's clearly worse, right? This guy's got 11,000. He's doing all right. 14,000, doing all right. 19,000, doing all right. And Apache Darchi at 55,000. He's doing great. He's doing most of the work here. But this is, again, the red balloon equivalent. So after you start popping each individual balloon, obviously eventually you're going to get down to 0, but all of those balloons added together are the red balloon equivalent. So I think a ceramic balloon has an equivalent of like 102 or 104 total balloons inside of it. So if one ceramic struck through our defense, we would lose this game. If one Moab sneaks through, obviously we lose the game 4 times over. We've lost like 400 lives, just like that. So not letting any of the big balloons sneak through is obviously very important, but not letting any balloons sneak through is even better, right? That's where a spike factor comes into play. These are BFBs, by the way. These are the big red balloons. You can notice, again, you're going to see a lot of these. And then the last round here is going to be the biggest balloon we're going to see in this game mode, which is a Oh My God balloon, or ZOMG, some people like to call it. I'll call it the Oh My God because it says Z. Oh my God. You know, I mean, come on. Like, clearly Ninja Kiwi did that on purpose, right? Come on. Come on. Clearly. I've even seen some people call it other names too, but gosh darn it, man. Why is it not as Oh My God? Come on, get it. Come on. Really? Really? It's gotta be. It's like calling a BFB a Biffab or something, or a Moab a Mob. Come on, who calls them Mobs? You gotta announce all the letters, bro. A Mob, BFB, Oh My God, DDT, even the bad balloon. I guess they all just kind of have their own little nuances and everything. Now, if you are trying to earn more experience for individual towers, though, don't forget that you want to start spending more money. Spending more money in those towers. So if you want more Dart Monkey experience, spend more money in your Dart Monkey. If you want to get more different new tower experience, this is the time to do it. But again, you're stealing away experience from these other towers. So if you have not unlocked a 5th tier and you really want, for example, an Apache Prime, just keep on going with this or buy more heli pilots, you know? It'll all work wonderfully. Now, once we get to the late 70s, this is where it can get a little fresh, because we got a lot of Moabs coming out. We got a lot of individual balloons that are like reinforced, regen, rainbow, weird balloon types that we're like, holy crap, they're combining different things together now. They're not just giving us camo balloons. They're not just giving us ceramics. Now they're giving us reinforced camo ceramics. This is getting wild, dude. So that's another thing about the properties, is that they can be additive on top of each other. For example, we're going to eventually have to deal with a balloon beyond round 80 here that's going to be something called a DDT. They are the most absurd balloons in the entire game because they have so many ways that they can skirt your defenses. They've got black properties, they've got camo properties, they've got lead properties. And those 3 properties together just make things super freaking insane. It makes it almost impossible to pop those things, but there are a couple ways to do it, which are kind of above the scope of this video. But just know that balloons can have additive properties on top of each other, and you really have to be efficient with how you kind of manage your defense to make that all happen. But when in doubt, what I recommend doing is building a village on your towers. All right, the village is the all-encompassing best support tower in the game, and pretty much every game you buy this, you're going to want to buy a village, all right? Especially in the beginner maps, because this is going to allow you to get buffs on all of your towers that can fit inside of the range of the village, which is why we built most of our towers in the middle of the map. So when you get a village, automatically you're going to get a range buff. All right, you can see the range buff on these guys. It says we're in the range of a village here. We're going to get an extra range buff on them, which is sweet. If we buy a bigger radius, we're going to increase the radius of the village, but not necessarily increase any of our monkeys stuff. When we buy the jungle drums, though, it's going to increase the attack speed of all the monkeys, I believe, by 15%, which is a fantastic, fantastic combo here. And then, let's say, oh crap, we kind of forgot about cam detection for some of our monkeys here. Regrow blocker and radar scanner gives every monkey in the range here cam detection. You don't need to worry about it. Usually, though, by round 78, you're going to want to do that. Okay, round 78 is a big camo round, so make that happen. But before that, even earlier, round 42 is a really nice round to have a radar scanner village on. So for the rest of the game, any tower you put inside the range here will have increased attack speed, automatic cam detection. It's just a really good combo to have. And then you can decide if you want to increase your primary monkey's power, you can go for a primary training, or if you want to just have all types of popping power, so you just don't know what you're doing, you buy an MIB. MIBs will allow you to pop any type of balloon with any type of monkey in here, and it just makes the game a little bit simpler. All right, and we've got $37,000 left over at the end of the game. So for any player out there that is like, why would you do that, Chris? Like, clearly you should spend the money. Yes, we probably should. But it's really not harming us to have extra money here. It's only just saying that we have the ability to be so good at this game that we can have a bunch of money left over at the end of the game and still win and still dominate. It's kind of cool, actually. So after round 80, though, this is where it gets a little weird. I want to explain this so people don't get confused, though. When we reach round 80, we get the complete screen. We are victorious. It shows you your monkey star, shows you some of the cool things about all the things you did, how much money you've spent compared to how much money you had left over. We only spent about, what? We get about $100,000 at the end of hard, so we spent about 65% of our money or so, which is kind of cool. Popped a lot of bow-ups, obviously, placed 14 towers, and all good here. We get some monkey money, which is cool. Now, if you already beat the same map here, don't replay it. You're going to earn way less monkey money. Every time you earn a new medal, you're earning way more monkey money, and it shows you kind of at the play screen how much money you're earning per map you beat. If you want to, you can go into free play mode. Now, this is important here. This is free play mode, and the rules have changed. Bloons will get stronger and faster the further you go. Keep playing as long as you can. So this is why I always call free play mode after round 80. Okay, because the Bloons specifically get stronger and faster the further you go. So after round 80, I consider this free play mode. Now on Chimps and Impoppable, it's technically not free play mode, but it's the exact same version here. Bloons are going to get stronger over time. So, Bloons work differently at this point, okay? First of all, if you're playing hard, at this point you should quit out. Go play a new map, go play on hard. You're not earning very much experience at this point. You're not earning a lot of anything at this point. You're going to earn way less experience for your towers. It's just not worth it to play past round 80 on regular hard. But it is worth it if you're playing on Impoppable or Chimps mode. Those will be very effective for earning tons of experience for all of your monkeys and allowing you to level up quicker, which obviously allows you to unlock everything quicker. Playing to round 100 is the fastest way to level yourself up. Alright, I promise you, it's a very, very good way to play the game. Now you're noticing that round 80 was a simpleton. Now round 81, we're like struggling here to try to get everything popped. Like, what are we doing wrong, man? It's just because after round 80, things do actually get significantly more difficult. You're going to have to start spending your money. You're going to have to start spending it properly. So, focusing on getting 5th tier towers at this point is probably a good idea. So you can go for something like an Apache Prime, which just straight up dominate. You can sell other things to make that happen if you want to. Or you can go for Crossbow Masters. You can go for a bunch more 4th tier towers to kind of like test things out or whatnot. Just for easiness purposes, though, I'm just going to buy an Apache Prime because I know it's going to be dominant. You just got to talk about things for a little bit. But generally, the more money you're spending on a single upgrade, the more OP it's going to be, the more overpowered it's going to be. So when we spend a full $50,000 on a single upgrade, that's a lot of money to save up. Very hard to get that much money all at once like that. It's totally worth the upgrade cost, guys. I promise you. When we're spending little bits of money, you know, 2,800 or what's a good example? Like the Glue Storm here, when we're spending, you know, $17,000, like that is going to be a worthwhile tower, but not as good as a $50,000 tower, right? But I wanted to show you guys past these rounds because I wanted to show you that if you play it right, you don't need to build a crazy amount of banana farms. You don't need to build a crazy amount of towers over here. You can kind of just let the game do its thing, and you're going to just do well with it, right? I also want to talk about abilities, which I have not talked about yet. So every single monkey is going to have 3 different paths that you can upgrade to, right? The top path and the bottom path don't generally have any very common characteristics, but the middle path always will. It will have an ability and an upgraded ability. All right, at the 4th tier, you get an ability. At the 5th tier, you're going to have an upgraded ability, which is even stronger than the 4th tier ability. So you're noticing down here that our hero also has abilities. So this is an ability that I can activate at any time. It's got a weird cooldown that's going to allow me to use it only every once in a while. I'm going to use it obviously on the difficult portions or the parts of the game where you're going to start losing. You earn 1 ability at level 3, so like almost instantaneously you've got your first ability, and then another ability at level 10. Some heroes can even have 3 abilities, which is kind of wild. I think Adora has 3 abilities, so you can get like overwhelmed by that a little bit. By like, oh my god, I gotta use abilities here, there, and all over the place. If you're playing on Steam, it makes it even easier because you can use the hotkeys to do these things instead of actually physically grabbing things. You can actually do that with hotkeys on towers as well if you're playing on mobile or on Steam here. Oh no! Our first terrible Bloon, the DDT! It's evil! It's terrible! Black properties, camo properties, left properties, what do we do? Well, believe it or not, I actually don't have very good towers to pop these DDTs right now, like at all. The best tower for me at this point is actually my Blue Strike, which is kind of goofy, because he allows us to use an ability that makes DDTs easier to pop. All right. The other best tower that I would recommend for a lot of DDT players or new BTD6 players when they're popping DDT is going to be Prince of Darkness. All right. Very, very, very good cleanup tower. Basically, he allows you to earn a graveyard that will slowly level up as you pop more Bloons in his range, and then he makes reanimated Bloons kind of come against the Bloons here, and as the Bloons try to sneak through, you annihilate them. But make sure you're ready for DDTs round. Don't forget, every round will be always the exact same, so you're never going to have to deal with rounds being alternated or different or anything like that, except for specifically alternate Bloon rounds. And so once you get kind of used to things, you're going to start memorizing things. You're going to start memorizing that DDTs only come out around 90, 93, 95, and 99, which makes it a little easier to kind of know what to do for them, right? You're going to learn the first Camo Bloon comes out around 24. You're going to learn the first Lead Bloons comes out around 28. You're going to learn the first Mauve comes out around 40. And those are all things that you can just kind of like write down or memorize or think about, and it'll come pretty naturally fairly quickly. The odder rounds, remembering 100 different rounds here is going to be a little trickier. Knowing exactly how many BFBs or something like that's come out. I still have played this game 1,000 times and I still don't know how many Bloons come out every single round. It's like something weird that I just like, oh yeah, they just get bigger and beefier over time, right? Just gets stronger. Anyways, here we go. This is the Prince of Darkness. This is another tower that if you guys are ready for it, if you guys can get it, 5th tier Fi, this guy, he's going to be so freaking good. I promise you, and I like to go God to Magic and Arcane Blast. Just because I'm kind of weird. And now even if DDTs get to the back of the map here, this guy's going to do a lot of cleanup for him. We can also make ourselves just a little stronger by using that glue that we talked about earlier, making the DDTs just weaker. And don't forget, you should still use your hero's abilities here. I mean, if you're struggling against one of the toughest maps, toughest rounds in the game here, you want to be able to take these things down nice and easily. So use those abilities and make use things to make yourself stronger. And at this point, we are basically done. We did no farming, we did nothing fancy. I have no monkey knowledge activated or anything. This is all just pure skill, playing the game in an effective way with a few towers just kind of oriented in a couple different ways. And we can take this all the way around 100. Now again, keep in mind, this is not something that you should be doing your first try. After round 80, you should just give out, play a new metal. If you want to start playing Chimps mode or Impoppable mode, you can do that, and you can start earning things a little bit more effectively. Don't go up to around 100, but I still recommend playing a couple different maps up to around 80 first before you dive into round 100, because it can get real tricky real quickly. Anyways, a couple things you're going to learn here is obviously round 98, 99, and round 100 are all going to be the most difficult rounds in the entire game for you. So you're going to have to get good. You're going to have to get good. These are the toughest rounds by far. Like, big money is what I'm talking about here. So you might even need a micro, pull out your abilities, pull out your upgrades here, do everything you can to make sure you can be the best Bloons player you can be to take these rounds down. Round 98 is going to be the big Bloon level, round 99 is going to be a big chunk of DDTs, and then round 100 is going to be the bad Bloon. So this is the next level and biggest Bloon in the game, which has both Zoma Gods and DDTs inside of it. Huh? What? Are you kidding me? The bad Bloon. Clearly, he is bad. Right, but he shouldn't be that big of a deal for us because we got an Apache Prime, we got the right combos. We're gonna annihilate this guy. But our pod, which is in the back, which is actually doing a lot of our defense right now, is actually not going to be helping us out that much because he's losing his graveyard right now. So that's unfortunate, but it's okay. We use our glue here, we use Quincy's abilities, and we're going to take these things down for a nice, easy win on round 100. Beautiful. So, at this point, we can play into Mega Free Play, which is round 100 plus, which things get very, very, very insane. But again, not recommended, not for new players. Just quit out at this point, and you're going to move on with your life. So at this point, you probably leveled up quite a bit, and you've probably earned something called Monkey Knowledge. All right? You can usually get Monkey Knowledge just by leveling up fast enough or far enough that you can earn Monkey Knowledge points. Or some people just like to help themselves out very quickly and earn some Monkey Knowledge points just by spending some money on it. I mean, that's cool too if you want to do that. You can get 10 points for like $8 or whatnot. I still don't recommend it. I still think you should earn them on your own, but it's really nice to know that you can just jump in here and do very, very well. One easy way to play the game is probably by either leveling up your hero up to the full 13 points right from the get-go, or focusing on, realistically, you can go any route. we're focusing on the 2/3 price military monkey and big balloon sabotage, which are just great ways to level yourself up. Let me find it real quick. This is going to be one of the keyest, bestest military monkey knowledge points in the entirety of the game. 2/3 price military monkey is just straight up delicious. It's this one right here. It's going to cost you a lot of monkey money and points to get it, but trust me, it'll make the game so much easier. I've only beaten one map on one difficulty. If you want to, you can start to beat more difficult game modes of this thing, but I recommend that people instead just go play hard on most of the maps. Play hard on most of the maps, then go back and start playing the bottom path here. Do alternate balloon rounds, do unpoppable, and do chimps. These will be the fastest ways to level up in the entirety of the game here if you can beat them properly. But this is going to be different. This is going to be very hard because you're going to have less money, and this is going to be even harder because all that monkey knowledge that you just had is gone, and you only have one life. And you can't make any extra money by farming or anything. It's really the epitome of being a good BTD6 player. Now, we kind of did that already on standard mode, but just note that it is difficult, especially once you start playing the harder maps, more the odder maps, and kind of like working together to make it all happen here. Again, if you guys enjoyed the video at all, press that like button for me, subscribe. Again, use my creator support code. It really does hook me up and help me out. I really, really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so, so much. If you don't like supporting me, though, you can support your favorite creator, and that's okay, too. It makes me happy, though. So, yeah. And thank you guys so much, and have a super duper delicious day.